Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another episode. My name is Nikki, and today I am going to be covering whether or not tracking macros is absolutely necessary for you to see the results and progress that you are after. Now, let me put a little bit of a reference out there for you just to understand macro tracking. That is different than just calorie tracking. Macro tracking is going to be tracking proteins, carbs, and fats specifically, and those each add up to a certain amount of calories. So you end up tracking both the macronutrients and the total calories at the same time. So that's what macro tracking is. And I will say, I think that it's important for everyone to do if they're after a specific physique or health goal, at least for a short period of time. And this is the reason why. What I'll say is so much of our country, our society in general, is extremely uneducated in what the foods they're eating add up to, right? And they much less the serving size. So many people, including myself before I got started with all this, didn't even realize that you need to flip over the package to see if there was one serving or six servings into this one sized package thing. And it adds up super, super fast, and you would never ever expect it to, because so many of the things that we're eating every single day are so highly processed that it's easy to overeat by thousands of calories and still feel hungry. And it's just become accustomed to what our society expects. And that's why so many people struggle so bad. So I'm a big component of balance, right? I really strive to eat a lot of whole foods. I balance it out a little bit with an ice cream cone here, a cookie there. There's no problems with that. But it's really, really important to understand what these different foods add up to, whether they're whole or whether they're processed. And it's really important to understand what types of foods they make up. So whether they're mostly a protein, mostly a carb, mostly a fat. And so tracking macros, at least for a little while, is going to help you understand what those different foods fit into those categories. So what I'll also point out is that taking in protein for the majority of people, unless you have a medical condition of some sort that prevents you from being able to utilize or take in that amount of protein, I will say the majority of people are under eating on protein. And it's going to be one that's really, really important, not just for muscle building, right? I want you to get that out of your head that protein is just for muscle. It definitely helps with muscle, but protein is absolutely essential for so many other things in your body. It's literally the building block of every single thing in your body, from bone to digestive lining to your immune strength to your gut health lining, or your gut lining, I should say, to improve your gut health. It's the basis for building enzymes and hormones. It is so much a huge piece that so many people do not give enough credit for. So if you're not taking enough protein, then you're going to continue to shoot yourself in the foot as far as being able to change your physique and or your overall health. So by tracking macros for a while and understanding what foods are really, really high in protein that are going to help you, I think it's important to do so. Now, where people get hung up is you get going and tracking macros, right? And this was me. I tracked macros for 7 years. And I loved it because it was the first time that I actually learned what my foods were made of, and I could be in control of what I was taking in, and I could make whatever fit that I wanted to. And it was like this big puzzle, and I enjoyed it. And I was like killing it. And so I made this massive physique change, which was so cool. But then it got into my head because I'm a very type A person, as I've talked about on this podcast before. I'm very checklist. I'm very, getting it done, hitting the marks. I like check marks. I like crossing things off my list. I like that kind of stuff. So I became very attuned to hitting a specific macro every single day, a specific calorie every single day, weighing every single thing out that went into my mouth every single day. And it got to be a little much, to say the least. And I just kind of hit a breaking point. So my opinion is, and this is just my opinion, unless you are having plans to, go into a specific physique competition, or you are taking the stage of some sort, or you are getting ready to perform in a very, very important athletic event, those kinds of things, then yes, we should probably be tracking macros to make sure that you are staying on very specific track for you, your event, your sport of choice. Now, if you are like most of my people that follow me, basically who I am, I consider myself an athlete, yes, but I also consider myself a mama too that lives on a farm, right? So I definitely consider myself more of an everyday person, not necessarily a full-time athlete. So I think it's really important for people, just, our regular people, regular civilians, regular people, part of society, that you understand what to take in and how that's important, but we also need to learn how to balance that out and learn from it, right? So for so long, for like 7 years, I was like on it, on it, on it, on it. And then I just finally hit a point where I was like, I can't do this anymore. I'm so tired of having to live in my phone because we decided to go out for supper at this small town restaurant. And what can I swap in my day to make it fit and play the Tetris? Because anybody who's trashed macros understands what I'm saying when I say macro trash Tetris. And it just got to be so much. And I wasn't trusting myself to have the knowledge that I had built up in my brain to be able to follow through on making a good choice, whether or not I hit a calorie goal or a macro goal or whatever. So, to answer the question, is tracking macros necessary for you to see a physique goal or a result of some sort with your body? For a short period of time, especially if you are new to chasing a physique goal, a health goal, I think it is necessary. And that I can help you with. I have my own app. I can help set up macros. You can track foods in there. I can see it. I'll be able to help you understand and learn, right? And the whole big piece of that is learn. Because if you can understand and learn, then we can apply what you learn to everyday life. And then you can have the confidence to go on vacation, to go on dates, to live everyday life without having to track it in your phone. That is my big goal for you and for everybody else. It was a big goal for me, and I finally did it. It's been about 6 months now since I've tracked a day of food, and I'm still seeing results. I'm still seeing progress, and it is absolutely a huge amount of freedom that I haven't felt in a very, very long time. So, with all of that, how to make the transition out of tracking macros, right? That can be a big, scary mess. And I definitely want to touch on that briefly. I'm not going to dive too deep into it, but what I want to point out here is to expect it to be a trial and error situation for a while. So if you've been tracking for a long time and you're just kind of done, right? You understand what foods are made of, you understand what serving sizes are, you understand that there's some balance in there, and that if you have an ice cream cone on the weekend with your kids every once in a while, it's not going to be you're going to wake up 15 pounds heavier the next day. Like, you understand those things, or you're not afraid of them anymore. If you are to that point, you're probably ready to start breaking away from tracking. So some things that you can do, are things that I did, is to start backing off slowly. Like, what I have clients do that are easing out of it is to track like every 3 or 4 days and then trust themselves for 3 or 4 days of the week and make sure that they're following a plan or a calendar, right? So track Monday, Wednesday, Friday, have Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday to trust yourself, something like that. And then that keeps you accountable to, the food choices that you're making, but also it's going to keep you, in tune with those habits that you're trying to build and establish, and building up the habit of trust that you have with yourself, establishing that trust with yourself. And it's really important to keep doing that for a while. Once you're confident on your Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, and you're still hitting your Monday, Wednesday, Friday, then you can start to ease off on the Monday, Wednesday, Friday as well. And it becomes really, really easy. You start to feel hunger cues and fullness cues. You start to feel satisfaction with your foods. You start to know what to kind of pick, whether or not you know how many calories are in it. It's actually really outstanding. There's a number of studies that have been done that even if you are taking in more calories, but they're from really good whole foods that are not highly processed or processed at all, your body can actually utilize them better. You have less inflammation in your body from them, and you can break them down and utilize them better. And therefore, you don't gain weight. You actually end up losing weight or gaining more muscle instead, even though you're taking in more calories than you were with all the processed foods. Pretty fantastic stuff. So, with all that being said, a couple of things if you're trying to ease out. Like I said, 3 days, 4 days a week of tracking, take the other 3 or 4 to trust yourself and build habits, establish trust, that kind of thing. But then, make sure that on those days that you're trusting yourself and on the days that you are tracking, you're taking in primarily whole foods, right? Things that are not coming in packages, or if they are coming in packages, they have 5 or less ingredients that you can pronounce on them. Minimal added sugars. There's going to be some added sugars and stuff. And don't get me wrong, I still love some chocolate. I love having an ice cream cone, like I said, like those kinds of things. It's okay to have that every once in a while, to have some added sugar, but we shouldn't be having it at every single meal, every single day. We need to back it off, right? So natural sugars are totally fine, but we're trying to go for no added sugars in there. So really look for those whole foods, things that are very minimally processed. You can do that at almost any restaurant. You can do that at home super easily. So really looking for whole foods. Taking in like the rainbow is something else I like to say. So if you can go for it's mostly going to be fruits and vegetables, but go for a variety. Try and get a color from the rainbow throughout the week, right? So white, red, blue, right? Get all these different colors in there. And if you get that into a rotation every week and you start grabbing more and more colors of fruits and vegetables, you're going to get all of those nutrients, those micronutrients that your body needs so much to help a ton with energy, cravings, mood, hormones, everything. So really, really going for that. And not to mention those foods are going to be really, really packed full of fiber, which is amazing for gut health and heart health and digestion. So definitely go after that rainbow of foods. Um, as far as the next one is taking in a probiotic rich food each day. This is a hard one for people. This is a fermented food. So it's going to be, Greek yogurt or cultured cottage cheese. It's going to be kombucha. It's going to be kimchi or sauerkraut. Those types of things. Just make sure that when you look at the label, it says live cultures, right? You're going to find them mostly in the cold section. Make sure you're getting your sauerkraut or your kimchi from the refrigerated section, not the shelves on the inside. That's going to have live probiotics in it, the ones in the refrigerator section. So you want to be having those. That stuff's going to help a lot with gut health, natural energy. The fiber from the foods from the step before are actually going to help feed the probiotics and keep the happy gut health bugs going a lot easier. So they kind of work in together. Um, Other things that chew slow, right? So take a bite, really let the food like melt in your mouth, enjoy the flavors and the textures, put your fork down between each bite, put your sandwich down between each bite. Yes, I said sandwich. Yes, I eat sandwiches, 2 pieces of bread, all of it. And it's not 45-calorie bread, right? Like it's okay. We can back away from all of the health food, right? It's going to be okay. Um, but put it down between each bite and let yourself really enjoy the bite. You don't always have to be in such a rush, and you can actually enjoy the food. It's actually going to help improve satisfaction. It's going to help reduce cravings. It's going to reduce overeating. You're going to be able to read that fullness cue a lot easier. It's amazing what can happen with that. Um, and then other things, really focus on getting quality sleep. That's a huge one. Quality sleep is going to be a very big important piece. So if you didn't know, your body does most of its rebuilding and repairing in your sleep, but it also does most of its fat expelling in your sleep, which is actually the majority of your fat is expelled through your breath. So when you're sleeping, you're actually expelling like fat cells through your breath, which is super cool. But if you're not getting quality sleep, then your body's not going to go through those processes. So you're going to continue to struggle a little bit more. And sleep lowers cortisol and stress and all of that good stuff too. So quality sleep, consistent hours if at all possible, huge game changer. And then the last one that I really want to touch on is just move your body intentionally every day. It doesn't have to be CrossFit or Orange Theory every day. If that is your jam, I would say a few times a week with that is perfect. Otherwise, doing strength training, going for walks is absolutely fantastic, right? Some days I only go for a 1 mile walk. That is my workout for the day. Other days I am crushing an hour of HIIT because that's how I love to operate, right? Other days I am just doing strength training. I'm not even sweating. It is so amazing what your body can respond to, but move your body intentionally every single day. It will help a ton. So I know that I kind of started with, is tracking macros essential to see success? For a while, yes. Then we need to start to break away from it with some of those habits and some of the things that I just covered. I think that will help you guys a lot to be able to not only get into tracking, but also how to ease out of it appropriately. And if you need help with any of the above, if you need help with getting into tracking, or if you need help with getting out of tracking, you just let me know. I'm more than happy to help. I'm actually developing a course right now for easing out of tracking or transitioning out of tracking. It's going to be really, really helpful. It is going to be in my app as well. So my app is the NH Fitness app. It is linked in the show notes. So if you want to check it out in the coaching options, feel free to do so. And then you can always message me directly as well. So hope this helps you in some way. Hopefully it reassures you in some way. And like I said, if you ever need anything, I'm here. Have a great day, you all, and I'll see you next time.